Maybe somebody else could get involved in the battle as well. So here they are lining up with the Mini GP riders at the front of the grid. We'll see the Junior Supermotos just held behind slightly. So there's Humphries on the inside. I unfortunately haven't seen Luca Wilkinson out, so I assume that he is out of action after that spill.
I think I saw him. I saw him roll out the garage. I've not seen him pull up on the grid yet, though, so I'm not sure. But the interesting thing about this is, if you're watching and you're not used to watching this, it looks like the same racers on the same bikes, but they're not. They've got the same liveries, but they've gone from a 160 bike to a 140 bike, or from a 140 to a 110. So although their bikes look the same, they're actually different engines.
Different machinery.
So different machinery. So. For example, Tyler and Wilson, they're racing across different classes. They're competing in different classes against each other, and they're consistently lapping within a certain time frame, as are others. So in different classes, different riders, like Travis, for example, in this class, he's slightly further back in the pack, so he's like 7th or 8th, isn't he? Yeah. Whereas in another class, he's 1st and 2nd. So that's where they cross over in the development, and you see some rising to the front and some rising to the back. So yeah, it's just really good to see that they're competing at all levels, not just in one class.
And you've got to, of course, have that skill to jump off to different types of machinery as well, and cope with that as well. So here we go then. Mini GPs about to get underway, and off they go. Good clean start. The Supermoto should be underway very shortly. Oh, look at that. Wilson Dilks around the outside. Nice move there to sweep around the outside and take the lead. So this time it's Wilson Dilks that gets the jump on the field, and these two riders at the moment, Tyler Humphries has been slightly quicker, but if Wilson Dilks get ahead, he's been able to maintain that gap at the front.
That's right. So it'll be interesting now. So Wilson will want to get his head down and try and stay ahead as long as possible, and Tyler's going to obviously want to get past as quickly as possible. So the first couple of laps here could be interesting.
This will be good to watch here, because I would say Tyler Humphries has been faster, but that has been marginal really. So Wilson Dilks, he has proved this afternoon already, but if he can get ahead, he's got enough to hold on and take the checkered flag. It's their final race of the day for these two, and they'll be looking to have one last fight for the checkered flag, as Dilks again, very aggressively out of the corner, cuts across the front of Tyler Humphries. And Humphries is not perturbed by that one bit as they make their way down towards the McRae hairpin on the second lap. Dilks guarding the inside line, making that machine as wide as possible as Tyler Humphries tries to brake on the inside, square the turn off, but Dilks has got the line covered. And Wilson Dilks again through that right-handed hairpin. The Ironman's down the back straight he goes, heading towards the S's, and Tyler Humphries right on his tail. In second place, we've got Thordy Trevorrow in 3rd, Wallace Doherty in 4th, Nelly Buchanan, Hudson Cooper in 6th, Travis Shaw 7th, Daniel Stevenson a bit further with Ethan Dunning, Parker Jazari in 10th. Rookie champion, I think, the last of the pack there, with Joel Grigg leading the junior Supermotos, George Bowes, Joshua Herring, Arthur Woods and Tyler Swift. Over the line they go once again, and Wilson Dilks holding on to that lead, but coming under a lot of pressure from Tyler Humphries, right on his tail in second place. Here they come up towards the top corner again. Wilson Dilks guarding that hairpin into McRae's. Oh, look at this though, with a good comeback there from Tyler Humphries. And again, they are fighting very close to the front here, Derv.
Yeah, through that left-hand hairpin, they take a very different line. Tyler turns it really tight, whereas Wilson takes a real sweeper, so it's a very different line. And you see Lewis Mullen.
He's got
there
through
in head
to
of
third now, hasn't he?
It doesn't look like his transponders picking up or working, so for whatever reason he's not coming up on the live time. So Lewis Mullen's actually in the race in 3rd. Not sure why that transponder's not working.
Wilson Dilks on the track. Maybe he must just have missed the loop sometimes. I think the lap scores, of course, will get that one back in very shortly. It's showing on the timing charts here as Tyler Humphries as the race lead. Oh, and he is the race leader now, because that was an opportunistic move. Let's see if Dilks can fight back. They are side by side in timers, but of course Humphries has got the line. I'll tell you what, there, I think Tyler Humphries saw half an opportunity. I think they were closing up on, I think it was Tyler Swift, I think.
Yeah, and they saw a back marker, and he thought, right, now's my chance, and he shot it up the inside, and really Wilson had nowhere to go, so it was a really difficult position for him. So they got through, the back marker got through as well, which was awesome, so that's good. But now you can see this is a race at the front of the pit bike, so this is Joel Grigg and Bowes.
There's George Bowes.
George Bowes,
67's behind him, and Joshua Henning in there as well, possibly.
Yeah, I think he's just a little bit behind, but Josh had a really brilliant weekend. He's picked up his first podiums this weekend, so he'll be absolutely loving life this week.
Like I said at the start of the race here, is Joel Green, of course, on a very different bike this time. He's been riding on the, of course, the more Mini GP style machine, now back on the Supermoto and coming under some pressure. Oh, nice sweep out to the final corner there from George Bowes.
So both these lads will ride a Mini GP as well, but they both opted to jump on the more pit bike Supermoto style this weekend for one of their classes. So you can see that they're really adaptable in the way they ride, and they're both really competitive.
Different riding style, you would say, on these bikes as well.
Completely, yeah.
Like you say, I think a more upright style, you would say, and George Bowes doing well to keep Joel Green behind him. He's made the move stick. Halfway through this race, Tyler Humphries still leading from Thorley Troy. We're just watching this battle at the moment. On the edge of the top 10, leading with the pit bikes, of course, is George Bowes, 67. Back at the front of the pack itself, we've got Tyler Humphries, and still he can't shake off Wilson Dilks.
No, this was much closer in this race, and it's good also to see that if you look a bit further down the pack, in 5th place, is it Buchanan?
Oh, Miller Buchanan, yeah.
So from one class where he's trying to catch up, this class he's at the front of the pack, racing against Doherty and Travis, and again, slightly different bikes, slightly different engines, and he's really competitive up there. So it's really good to see that across the different classes you can see he's going to be a competitive rider as he moves forward.
Yeah, he's running very strongly, of course, in that 5th place. Remember, of course, he was at the 5th place at the back of the field, so to speak, in Varley's, as he squeezed through past, I think that might have been Josh Herring, I think.
Yeah.
But Tyler Humphries, I think that brief moment past the back mark there was just the advantage that Tyler Humphries needs, just to pull away slightly, and then, in small letters from Wilson Dilks.
And it's opportunistic, I think is the word I'm looking for. Very opportunistic, and he got through. I think somebody's just come off in front. I'm not sure who that is, but
there was a stricken rider on the side of the track.
George Bowes. George Bowes is down.
George Bowes,
yeah. George Bowes is down. I think on Sunny Bend.
Yeah, going towards the sunny corner there. So over the sunny bend they go. Red flag has been out. I think there might have been 2 riders in that one as well, but sadly the red flag has been out. Tyler Humphries, I think, has seen that now, so slows down. Wilson Dilks behind him, and so sadly the red flag. 3 laps to go, so I don't know what's going to happen here.
I think they'd call that with 3 to go. Yeah. They won't do a restart for less than 2 laps.
So it looks likely that'll be called, won't it? So
it
appears an incident on the approach to Sunny Bend has brought out the red flag. We believe it's George Bowes, the rider, caught up in that one, and get confirmation, of course, later. But the riders making their way back around the lap, and sadly, of course, the red flag coming out. So that means that fairly likely that Tyler Humphries will be declared the winner of that race. Wilson Dilks in second as they make their way. Of course, the race has been halted. That is George Bowes there, I think, looking at the leathers with the white helmet, I believe.
Yep, I think it was. I could see the bike. It looked like his bike. I've not seen. Oh yeah, Joel Grieg's there, so he wasn't involved in the accident.
Joel Grieg is there, isn't he?
He's
We're
there.
not too sure if he was caught up in that one, but he's still on the bike, obviously. The good thing is, it looked like George Bowes was sat up. I think the medic was talking to him there, so hopefully it shouldn't be anything too serious.
It could be something on the track. He could have crashed, and could have had an oil leak. He could have an engine blow. It could be anything. You never know. It's not always the rider. It's sometimes the bike and what that dumps onto the track.
Yeah. But Bowes, it appears, is okay, fortunately. So the riders just being held momentarily by the marshal, being led on their way. So, like you say, Dave, I think this one will be called most likely with 3 laps to go.
I'd have thought so.
We'll have a look in a moment. But here they go back towards the waiting zone. So we're expecting the next race to be underway with the Cymoto Minibike 140s. The race, sadly, for the Ogling Co Mini GP and Junior Supermoto 140 being brought to the red flag. I think there's George Bowes being helped into the medical vehicle, that little golf mule thing.
Golf buggy, yeah. Been watching the gentleman. I'm not sure if he owns a track or he runs a track, Malcolm.
We've seen him a couple of times. Yeah, he pops in to say hello.
Zipping round on that.